If you're interested in making money by licensing your patents, then this video is for you. I'm going to tell you what companies are looking for when they license patents, give you an overview of the process, and even tell you what a typical licensing deal looks like. On top of that, I'm going to tell you what I believe is the biggest misstep that small inventors run into so that you can tell if licensing your patents is right for you. Let's start with what companies are looking for when they license patents. And that starts with a great technology that they either want to use to get an edge over their competitor, or a technology the company is already using and they need a license. Now, let's take the first case. What makes a great technology? First, it's a technology that gives the company an edge over their competitors, something that if they have and another company does not, at least some customers are going to choose their product over the competition. That edge could be lower cost, the edge could be a killer feature, the edge can be almost anything. Ideally, it's an edge you can measure or the value of which is immediately apparent and cannot be argued. As long as the edge is important to the product you are seeking to license, it can work. If you are trying to go this route, you really want to have some way to demonstrate the edge. Theoretical discussions are great, but they are not a substitute for actually putting a working device into a decision maker's hands and saying, here is what a patent license is going to do for you and your company. Now, for the second case, if a company is already using your patented invention in their product, then technically they are infringing on your patent and they need a license. Depending on how this is handled, this can often lead to a quick license or an expensive lawsuit and petitions for inter partes review. Given that the filing of a petition for IPR usually leads to litigation being stayed, this can stop a licensing effort in its tracks. However, let's skip that latter part. Let's say that you have an interested party looking to license your patent. What next? Lawyers are usually involved from the start of the licensing process. However, lawyers pretty much are always involved in actually drafting a patent license. A license will generally contain certain terms that have to be worked out and memorialized in a written agreement. Some example of typical license terms are the length. How long is the license for? Usually this will specify a term in years or months and will often actually specify the start and end dates. Exclusivity. Is the license exclusive for the entire term of the license? Is it exclusive for a limited period, such as the first 2 years? Or is the license entirely non-exclusive? Compensation. Paid up license, running royalty, or some combination. There are tons of other terms that a standard license has. The bottom line is the license has to work for you and the licensing company. And that brings me to the main misstep that small inventors run into. The number one misstep by far is that inventors have unrealistic expectations. Inventors tend to be dreamers, and they tend to assign a lot more value to their invention than the marketplace will. Then, when the time comes to sign a deal, a small inventor will expect 5 times or more what his invention is actually worth. Most inventors have poured their hearts and souls in their inventions. If they didn't, they would not have come up with anything that's worthwhile anyway. However, I can say from experience that there are a lot more $100,000 a year licenses than there are $1 million a year licenses, and billion-dollar patents are exceedingly rare. At my firm, when we work with inventors, we try to set expectations from the start. Given our practice, we can usually tell what a particular invention is worth very quickly, as well as what the relevant industry would consider to be fair licensing terms. Using that information, we try to set our clients' expectations appropriately so that they have a realistic view as to what a license might look like. If you want to learn more about invention licensing, feel free to check out my website at www.sherinianlaw.net. In addition, if you are an inventor with a burning problem, you have an invention that you feel companies are already practicing, or that you think would provide an edge in an important industry, then feel free to reach out to my firm using any of the contact information below. And finally, take care of yourselves and your loved ones and have a great day.